I had not realized how much impact on a personal life, right, that the current system of governance has. Right? So we talk about statism and how state dominates the economy and provision of services to citizens. Right? We think more in terms of, at least I was thinking more in terms of the larger system principles and principles of philosophy and design in a way, right? That how do you create institutions that would support freedom, to support people's desire to achieve best in their lives. I think coming to India, the first experience that made me brought me face to face. This is not just about, it's not about politics, it's not about economics, it's not about political principles. It's so much about your personal life. So I wanted to be independent, just like I was running in my own apartment in the US. I thought I can do the same, the single person, the small apartment that I had in Delhi. But I, of course, cleaned my own toilet, cleaned my own bathrooms, did the jhadu pocha for quite some time on my own to maintain the apartment. And that wasn't as big a problem, frankly. I could do all of those things. But when I had to pay my first electricity bill, right, and I took the bill, went to pay the bill, and I stood in the line for almost 3 hours. I said, yeah, of course, I must have forgotten. I grew up in India, obviously. At that time, my parents must have taken care of all these things. And I just was so shocked that, to give money, this is like, I'm not even asking for anything. I'm just going there to give money, right? Even to take money, government makes you wait, right, for this many hours. And actually, I was fortunate because some people just took pity on me, frankly. They realized that I was not used to this kind of standing in queues and got me up ahead in the line. But paying electricity bill, paying the telephone bill, right? Luckily, I had a telephone already installed in my apartment. So that wasn't a problem. I already had a gas connection also. That was all taken care of the apartment that I rented. But paying those bills really is felt how it makes you small, just makes you lose your basic dignity, right? As a human being, right? As a citizen. And that actually had a huge impact on me in terms of my own deeper understanding of why we need to fight this battle, right? It's not just for larger ideas, not for larger system reform, which is, of course, as I was thinking earlier, being trained in economics and all of that, right? But it's so much personal, right? It's so much that each individual's life is so directly impacted by what kind of system we put in place, right? How we design the service delivery in the country. And I think that was really a big learning experience in my own life. And I think made my resolve even stronger to do what I set out to do. Of course, life has changed dramatically, as you pointed out. It's no longer the case that you stand in queue to pay your bills. I think it's largely because I think this simple principle, right, of promoting choice and competition, right, which is very market principle. So even though you may have government provision of service, you don't want to have government monopoly of provision of service, right? Which is what it was in case of telecom and electricity earlier, right? Where government companies providing those services. There's only one place to go. It was BSNL or BSNL at the time, right? I remember very clearly at CCS office, right, that a linesman would come regularly, almost sometime every month, to say hello, to say, "Saab kaise ho? Kaisa chal raha hai?" Right? And of course, he's not asking for how you are doing. He's just reminding you that your telephone is working in your office because of him, and he needs to be given some bucks, some consideration for making it work, right? And I saw, we had the same linesman after a few years when the private sector was allowed to operate in telecom, right? The same linesman in our office area. After when the private telecoms came in, after some time, he stopped coming to office asking for those gifts, right? And I can see that how it has changed. Even the linesmen understood that now there's a competition. People have choice in terms of where they want to go, and therefore he cannot extort as he normally did. right? And I think after that, we were giving him some boxes with sort of open heart, right? Yes, we recognize his contribution. You know, he's the one who is there at 12 at midnight, right? To fix the telephone line if it does break down. So you want to recognize his contribution, his support that he's providing. But it was much more voluntary, out of goodness of the heart, out of service that he provided, right? It wasn't seen as an extortion or a bribe that we had to pay. And I think that has been a huge change. People don't realize that how much corruption has been eliminated just by this simple competition that we brought in and the choice that we allowed to consumers in many of these public services, which are used to be a government monopoly earlier. Right? I'm sort of afraid that we are not applying the same principle to other domains that we need to apply even today. Right? Why isn't government supporting students as it does in case of private schools, as it does in case of state schools? So you can opening those choices to citizens is a far better way of giving them dignity, first of all, but also to provide better service, to lower cost, right? All the good things that you want can come out of that process of giving more choice to citizens. And it should be no-brainer in a democracy. People are given the power to choose their own representatives. Why can't we trust them to give power to choose their school, their hospitals, right? And their service providers?